Didn't indicate there was. I asked him a third time. He still didn't indicate there was. So I told him, please process the instrument or the paperwork and give me my refund.
How do you reinforce that again? Like
by affidavit to CID.
Well, what I'm saying is that after a week,
by affidavit to CID.
Really?
Follow up with your phone call by affidavit to CID. People in San Francisco have been getting their money back. Yes.
So I'm just.
Oh,
No,
yes.
Criminal investigation.
Yes, sir.
Well, they'll tell you over the phone you can't do an OID, only corporations can.
Even that is BS.
Oh, well, I know it's BS.
Because I did my corporation 1 year, same person audited our corporations. 2007, it's processed, it's all fine, same process for 2007,
But you're
holding
processing
2007, but they're not releasing it because 2008 they're saying, oh, we own that this much, which is BS. It's exactly the same, filing an account.
But you're falling into a trap. The issue is that the straw man is the one that's doing all of it. The straw man is a corporation. The straw man is a corporation. They're absolutely right. They're absolutely right. Right.
Not even as a corporation. As a corporation, our corporation, not my corporation, as our business corporation, even that they don't know what they're doing. They have just some people who have no knowledge of anything.
They just do what they're told to do.
What was the 6703 about it just now?
The IRS.
The 6703. When you file a tax return and you receive a 6702 frivolous penalty filing, the code section says that when you look up the 6700 series of responses in 6702, if it's issued under frivolous penalty filing premises, that 6703 says that the secretary must meet the burden of proof to determine that it is in fact frivolous. If the agent is acting without having a 6703 determination from the secretary, he's doing what? He's going outside the bounds of the Reform and Restructuring Act of 1998, and therefore now he's operating under the scope of his office. If you need to know what the scope of office is, look at Federal Crop Insurance versus Merrill, and that limits the scope and authority of what they can do. So if they're stepping outside their scope and authority, what they need to do, you need to go to someone at a GS level higher, because the GS 6, I think, is where it starts. It goes up to a GS 12, I believe, for the in-house people that do the work. So you want to go up to another pay schedule, pay level, because all those GS levels are different pay schedules, pay levels. So 6703 has to be to show that the Secretary of the Treasury has met the burden of proof, and he's got to sign an affidavit or declaration of that fact. Nobody ever gets one of those with a 6702 letter, do they?
How about the
They get a letter signed by Maureen Green out of Utah.
Yeah. How about 4409? Can you use the same thing?
So whatever presentment you get, yes, sir.
I just want to comment. I mean, then when you challenge their authority or ask them to provide these documents, that they just ignore you. I mean,
I understand that. That's why I don't ask them to do anything. I tell them.
Yeah.
And I tell them what the consequences are for the refusal or failure to act.
Especially.
It's a big difference. You don't tell, you act, or ask to tell.
And remember who are the three parties that gave up their sovereignty in public office? Attorney General, Secretary of State, and Post Office General?
Correct.
And
Yeah, but we're not guilty. Those are all GSEs. It's insignificant.
Yes.
Jerry, point of clarification on the instructions on the SF-28.
Speak loud.
Chuck, talk up, please.
All signatures of the affidavit submitted must be original, and you mentioned earlier we can send you copies.
We're not submitting anything.
Okay.
That's
Submitting is on the debt side of the ledger. We're not submitting, we're giving notice. We're not submitting. We are the creditor. We are not asking anybody's permission. We are telling them what we are doing.
Yes. Give notice.
Huh?
We're giving notice.
That's right.
Should we write that on the bottom?
Is it a presentment?
Well, actually, it's a cover. I have a cover letter that goes with it. Did you get the cover letter, Joe?
Well, I just want to
Let's make me.
Is that one word or two?
One word.
One word.
Lowercase?
All lowercase.
Make me.
Jerry, quick question
And
for you.
then that
What
document
you're saying
is what?
is that
And then it'll open
the
the
straw
page,
man
Jerry
you
Kane page.
is
It's got
asking for
all the
things, while
audios,
the,
and then below that are his
the
documents.
living man is
Which
demanding
document
things. Is that
were
what
we
you're saying?
referring to?
The cover
Well,
letter.
yeah, but the
Demand or
living man is making his demands as
they're
the authorized
categorized on the
representative for the
page. I
fiction
made it
in the
real
fictional
easy.
world.
And
Because
then
you have to
the-
have a nexus, you know, to get into the fiction. You know, like on the Matrix, they had that thing that plugged into their skull. That's what the straw man is.
Construct,
That
yeah.
thing that plugs into your skull, that's the straw man.
So the straw man is always asking, while the living man is demanding and telling and giving
Noticing.
notice.
Noticing,
Got
giving
it.
notice, right.
Just want to clarify that.
Yeah, giving notice. Okay, so on the 90 there, what we're doing is we put the location.
Place of residence.
Yeah, I don't agree that there's a residence.
Yeah.
And I certainly wouldn't put any mailing location down on that and make those declarations. So the way I fill that out is just simply San Bernardino County, California, or Maricopa County, Arizona.
You want to put
So
the
the
person?
county that you live in.
Just the county that you want.
The county?
Just the county where the debt is.
You want to
Because
put
the
in?
straw man, it's the straw man. Where is the straw man? The straw man is wherever the debt is. Where's the debt?
In
Maricopa County,
At the
San
recorder's
Bernardino County,
office.
at the recorder's office, at the courthouse, wherever.
That makes a lot of
It
sense.
doesn't have anything to do with the flesh.
Correct. So the
Right.
birth certificate is insignificant.
Nothing to do. Social Security number is only if it's an
Gotcha,
IRS issue,
gotcha, gotcha.
and that's because Social Security number is the IRS account number.
That's right.
That's the only reason why you use it, is because it's an account number.
Oh,
Okay, so government account number.
Government contract number.
Government contract number is whatever you have. If you have a MIN number, that's a preferable one because that goes directly to the mortgage itself.
What is a MIN number? Where do you
MERS,
find it?
MERS identification number.
Yeah. And MERS is mortgage.
Yeah, and can you grammatically, is it grammatically correct to make an acronym from an acronym?
Yeah.
I don't know.
How does that work?
Yeah. MERS is an acronym, right?
That's
MERS
right,
is
yeah.
an acronym, right?
They created a statement of the
So that should be on your
Yeah, right. Huh?
deed of trust then, your,
On the
If
face
MERS
of
is
the
involved,
deed of
yes.
trust, if there is MERS, there is an MIN.
Yeah, it's right here.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, it'll say
got
at
it.
the top. Yep.
But if there is no,
What document
if MERS isn't involved,
Right, then it's whatever case
whatever
number or
one
ticket number or.
has been assigned.
Some identification.
But most
Whatever
of the
account number for the
numbers,
account that they're asking you for.
oh, I don't know, ask that.
The main number is here.
Case number or ticket number? That's what I'm thinking, whatever
Like a
is
notice
part
of
of the charging.
default, okay, coming from the bank saying you owe 20 grand, whatever.
Yeah.
That was
That's
Account
very
number or identifying number for
Now
the
it's
charging
moved
instrument.
into another step where it's a filing
On the
by
deed of
the
trust,
US,
the number will be on the deed of trust.
Bank Association
Uh-huh.
claiming that they're trustee for
Right,
mortgage
my Washington Mutual's none of them had MERS.
securities.
Right.
And they are petitioning the court now to
Registration.
prove that they've got an affidavit of proof for the promissory note. So are we gonna go through all three of these
And
forms,
send it to the
vote
court.
for,
Yeah.
to vote, on both instances?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's
So even
another
if
thing.
there's
If you're in
duplication-
if you're in an eviction, you would do a separate set of documents just for the court because it's a separate contract. It's a separate debt issue.
Can you redo that? There's a lot of side talking. Can you just reiterate what she asked and what you answered?
Okay, in the case that I'm working with some friends, they had received a notice of default saying that they owed the servicing arm of their loan $20,000. They did not pay it, so it went from there to foreclosure. But it couldn't go immediately into foreclosure and has not gone to public record as foreclosure because the bank foreclosing is now someone new that stepped in. It's a trustee for mortgage-backed securities, never been on file before, and now they have petitioned the court in our town to have a right to foreclose. So
And the
we've
judge will
got,
probably do it.
so yeah, judge will probably do it, but now we've got two different instances. We've got this old notice